Hi there, Ryan Rastall here for Golfshake.com, and once again we are back in the Performance Centre at Howley Hall Golf Club. You'll have seen from the title of this video, we are taking a look at the brand new Callaway Elyte line of fairway woods. Before we do that, take a bit of a look at them. Before we get into all the tech of these, make sure you hit that subscribe button. See loads more content from all of us here at Golfshake to help you play more and play better. Right, let's have a look at these three different models here. So we're going to start with Triple Diamond, okay? So this is the model that is obviously the lowest spinning, lowest launching. We do have that forward weight there. All of these fairway woods feature the tungsten speed wave technology that we see in the front there. So that's basically helping to get as much ball speed as possible, get that kind of weight low and forward. Also will change the spin a little bit as well, but really just packs a bit more of a punch really. It gets a bit more meat behind the club face there. And helps them to change the way that this club head is weighted ever so slightly. We've got the AI 10X face, which again is going to really help us with that. So this is an evolution again of using artificial intelligence to design club faces. So Callaway now have been doing this a number of years. They've invested a lot of money into the AI supercomputer in the R&D department there. And what that technology does is basically make it so that different points on the club face are hotter than they used to be. So if we hit it out the toe or the heel, out the bottom or the top, we should get results closer to a centered strike, and who doesn't want that? Now, a technology that is new for this line of fairway woods is this kind of stepped sole design. So you can see how it kind of drops from front to back there. Now, there's a couple of reasons for this. One, it helps get a bit more CG down and low, so it helps to launch the golf ball slightly better. But they've kind of counteracted that a bit by shifting the weight forward, so we still should get decent spin numbers out of this. And obviously lifting that back edge of the golf club up a bit helps it to, when it goes into the turf, actually come out a little bit better and kind of a bit more efficiently than it did before. So like I say, the Triple Diamond model is not going to be for everybody, but it's got this nice gloss finish on the top, no chevron there as well, which is slightly different to some of the other Elyte product that we're going to come along to. So when we move into the standard Elyte model, if you like, so we can see we've still got this tungsten speed wave in there, we've still got the stepped sole, slightly different looks on the way down. So we see it's more of a matte, more of a carbony kind of look to the top of the crown there as well, and certainly sits very, very nicely behind the ball. But this model, because of the weight that's missing there, doesn't have as much forward and low weight there, so it should be easier to launch, maybe a little bit more spin in there as well. So I've got 5 woods and 3 woods to look at today. The 5 woods are glued, a fixed hosel there, so no adjustability. The 3s you can adjust with that Callaway dual cog system that we've seen over the years. So when we move on to the X fairway wood as well, so X is slightly more draw bias, so we've got a bit more weight in the heel, a little bit more offset into the head as well. And when you look down on it, it's got that same kind of appearance that we see in the standard Elyte model of fairway wood. And again, same technology. So we've got tungsten speed wave and we've got that kind of stepped sole design in there. Has to be noted as well that Callaway have gone back to this green and black color scheme that we normally associate with Epic. Now, Elyte, obviously ELY, spelt slightly differently to the normal spelling of Elyte, because Eli Callaway was the man that started Callaway Golf. So a bit of a nod to their kind of heritage there as well, which hence where Elyte has come from. But I really like the graphics, I really like the colorway. I've always loved the Epic kind of series when they've brought those out as well. So it'll be interesting to see how each of these three very different models compares when we look at both the 5 woods and the 3 woods. So let's go and hit some here on the Trackman and have a bit of a look. So let's take a look at how each of these fairway woods compare. So I've got the 3 woods and 5 woods. I'm going to try them. So the 3 woods, I've been able to put my current shaft in it, which is Ventus Black 7X, which is what I use in my current AI Smoke 3 wood. I'm going to try that in all 3 woods. The 5 woods have got the stock shafts in there as well, so we'll talk about those as we go along. But yeah, let's hit some with the 3 woods to start with. So I'm going to start with X. then go to standard, then go to Triple Diamond, and then do the same with the 5 woods. So, like I say, I've got this set just in standard neutral, and certainly looking at it behind the golf ball, you can really see that draw bias element to it. Yeah, so we've got that kind of, it's almost like a little bit of an offset sort of look to it, which many of you will absolutely love, and it'll fill you with confidence. It's a little bit different to what I'm used to, and certainly left is always my bad shot with a fairway wood, so we'll see how this one goes. Well, I definitely didn't go left. I think I've kind of guarded against that a little bit on that one. Just pushed it down the right, but felt very good, very solid off the face. Was expecting it to maybe not feel quite as good as that. But yeah, distance-wise, pretty good. We're on the fairway, pretty happy with that. And that felt even better. That was right out the middle. Yeah, it's just drawn a little bit, but that felt like a very good strike. Yeah, it's gone about 20 yards further than the first one. So yeah, I do feel like I'm trying to fight it going left, because that one felt extremely good. And you can see what's happened to the flight. It's just turned over a little bit. Looks-wise, it does sit a little bit short, I think. But it's supposed to. It's supposed to be trying to help you not slice it effectively. I can see a bit more of the loft on it. The way that the face looks is a bit different to the Triple Diamond that I've got, which has got the grooves all the way across. So the looks are very different. I quite like this sort of carbony look to the top of it, and the chevron on the top I actually quite like as well. So let's just hit a couple more. Again, felt very good off the face. Really easy to get in the air, easy to launch, and feels quick as well. I mean, looking at the first few that I've hit, distances are pretty good. So let's move on to the standard Elyte in the 3 wood. And then, like I say, we'll work our way through the 3 woods, then get to the 5 woods, hit a load of golf shots with each one, and then have a bit of a look at the results. So now we're going to move on to the standard Elyte 3 wood. So again, I've got it in the same setting, standard neutral, 15 degrees, and again, I've got the Ventus Black 7X shaft in it. So the one that I have in my fairway wood. Very different look at address, looks a little bit more open, a bit more neutral really. It's just something to do with how basically where the neck joins the shaft just looks a little bit different, kind of blends a little bit better. A lot of the cosmetics look exactly the same as the X really, but it's just that kind of look at address that changes ever so slightly with this. Let's see what it's like in terms of feel. Very, very good. Feels really good off the face. Yeah, that is wow, that's gone a long way. 273, that first one. We'll take that. That is a long way for a 3 wood for me. Yeah, I mean, feel-wise, very similar to the X, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like I'm not fighting this, if that makes sense. Yeah, I'm kind of not struggling to stop it going left like I was with the X model. I think it does just feel a touch more solid off the face as well. Again, another one. I mean, they've been the 2 longest that I've hit so far, those 2 back to back, and yeah, certainly straight out the middle of the face. Easy to pick off the ground. You'll notice I'm hitting them straight off the mat here. There's no tee involved, so yeah, it's very, very easy to kind of pick off the ground. Obviously, we'll test this more when we get out on there, but certainly when we were on the range again at La Reserva about a month ago, there's a number of us there from different publications, and we tend to all be on the same trips all the time, but we kind of got together and we're hitting lots of shots out of divots and bad lies and things like that, and certainly this kind of step design of the sole was really helping us get the ball and get it flighted out of there. Certainly with the 5 woods and 7 woods that we tried, they were extremely easy to do that with, and certainly from hitting them off the mat here, it just gets the ball off the ground with ease really, and I'm sure that when we hit the 5 woods, that's going to be even more kind of prevalent, I suppose. But yeah, in terms of its feel and its looks, an improvement for me on the X model, and in terms of the distance and the feel, I think it just feels that bit more solid. So the last 3 wood we're going to try here is the Triple Diamond. Obviously very different looks with the grooves all the way across the face. We've got that shinier kind of look and no chevron now on the top. So let's see how it performs. Again, exactly the same setting, so kind of the standard neutral setting, 15 degrees, and with my own shaft in it. So let's hit a few. I mean, straight away, looks-wise, as you can probably gather, it suits my eye a little bit more. I actually quite like the standard Elyte model, but this one, there's just something about it, just looks a little bit cleaner, nicer, more traditional. and certainly with the way the grooves are, it's kind of what I've been used to this year when using the AI Smoke. So let's hit a few and see how it performs. Now we'd expect this to be slightly lower launch, lower spin. Not when you hit it like that. It's gone a bit left. It was a good strike. I've just pulled it. That was better. It's a bit more down the middle, I think. Yeah, it's certainly a very different sound and feel to it than the other two models. It feels a bit more solid. There's more of like a crunch and a different sound to it when you actually strike the middle of the face. And again, distance very good. It is a little bit lower spinning. Well, those first two were, but we can see the flight's very good. It's nice and high. It's getting over 100 feet there. That second one I've hit. Yeah, just a very, very different look, a little bit more neutral, open kind of look, which I like. As you've gathered, my bad one goes a little bit left, and I do not want that. And not quite out the centre, but it's down the middle. So yeah, it came a little bit out the heel. Distance very good again, so that's gone 273 down the middle of the fairway. So yeah, very different feel to the two, very solid. I really like it, to be honest. Now, let's try some of the 5 woods. So now we've moved on to 5 woods. I'm back now to Elyte X that we've got, so a very different look to it. That little bit more kind of draw bias look and sort of a bit more help to it. The other thing, like I said before, these have all got the standard stock shaft, which is the Project X Denali in there as well. These are 60 gram and stiff flex. So a little bit different to my Ventus that I've got, but I like trying different shafts as well to see how they perform. But certainly this is the one that is kind of going to be the more sort of readily available and kind of aimed at the mass market, I suppose, shaft. So potentially not for me, but we'll see how it performs. I think straight away, obviously we've now gone to a fairway wood that's more lofted, which you can definitely see. This doesn't seem to sit quite as shut as the 3 wood did for some reason. There's obviously that little bit more loft on the face. I can see more of that kind of pattern and grooving on the face there as well. Let's see how it performs. Certainly very easy to get in the air. Wow, that's gone very high. That's good. I mean, literally launches so high you wouldn't believe. I mean, that for many of you out there who, and there's loads of people I teach with fairway woods when they hit down on them so much and they kind of hit that squeezy, low, slicey, horrible shot. The way this is weighted should kind of counteract that a hell of a lot. It should help you get it up in the air more, and also that kind of draw bias addition to it should help you a little bit more as well. A bit more out the bottom. I think it's gone a little bit left maybe as well. Yep. So again, just feels like I'm fighting against that shot a bit with this. And certainly when I feel like I hit it a little harder, that's going to happen a bit more. Slightly better. I think it's a bit more down the middle. But maybe not. It's really trying to turn over all the time. But yeah, I mean, it's very easy to use, very easy to hit, easy to get in the air, which is exactly what the X model is designed to do in these fairway woods. But yeah, I really like the look of it. Like I say, that draw bias isn't, I don't think, as evident in this model. But as you can see, it's very easy to get up and very easy to kind of strike. And certainly for those of you that have got that slice tendency in your game, this one could be for you. So now we move on to the standard Elyte 5 wood, again with the same Denali shaft in it. I mean, looks-wise, it's very similar to the X. To be honest, I'm struggling to tell the two of these apart. You could do in the 3 wood just by the kind of the way that the neck kind of was a bit more offset in that, but certainly when you're looking at the 5 woods, there doesn't seem to be that big change between the two. So let's see how this one performs. Again, feels very easy to get off the ground. That's certainly got in the air quite quickly. Yeah, it feels slightly different off the face. I don't know why, just a little bit more solid potentially, but in essence, there's not that much of a difference between the two models at all, really, in terms of the, when we look at the sole of them both, there's not, there doesn't look to be a load more weight in the heel of the X or anything like that, but certainly the feel is ever so slightly different in this one. Just push that one a little bit, I think. Yep, still in play. It's okay. It's gone a bit high and right, but it's on the fairway. Yeah, I mean, we're seeing now much easier to launch. These are going quite high. The spin is really getting up there a bit more. Obviously, it's going to a little bit on that shot when you push it a tiny bit. Let's try and hit one a little bit straighter. Yeah, hopefully that's a bit more down the middle. Yeah, it's just drawing into the left-hand side of the fairway. Again, better. Spin's still nice and high though. So yeah, again, both of these models, so Elite X and Elite, very easy to launch, easy to get in the air, sit behind the ball nicely. And you can really kind of, compared to the AI Smoke that I've got, this kind of step sole design seems to be really helping you launch it. So now onto our final one, the Elyte Triple Diamond 5-wood. So this in the 3-wood was the one I liked the most, and I certainly like the looks of it the most. Again, in 5-wood, a bit more neutral. That chevron's gone off the top of it, that kind of more gloss top to it as well. Exactly the same shaft as we've hit in the other 2 5-woods, but certainly the looks behind the ball, that little bit more different, that kind of more traditional sort of shaping, and also the grooves all the way across the face I quite like as well. Let's see what it feels like. And the sound is very different to the other 2 models. And a bit of a push down the right-hand side, that one, but it sounds a lot more, I don't know, kind of carbony, I suppose, and the feel of it. One of the biggest indicators of feel is what it sounds like, right? And to me, it doesn't sound quite as tingy and metallic as the other 2 models do. It sounds a little bit different, like I say, a bit more carbon sort of feel. And many of you will know what I mean by that. I know I've not put that across particularly fantastic, but yeah, I don't know if you can pick that up audibly. It's very different. A little bit down the left. Somewhere in between those 2 would be nice for the next one, but yeah, I think the harder that I seem to hit this shaft seems to feel a little softer, but it's not a great strike, but I think it's a bit straighter. Yeah, so it's down the middle of the, well, the right half of the fairway, but yeah, I certainly prefer the feel of this off the face, and certainly the way it sounds when I hit it is a bit more like what I would expect. I've still got the old Epic 5-wood from sort of 3 or 4 years ago. At Epic Speed, that is, and absolutely love that. And again, it's a club that's probably going to take a lot of getting out of my bag, but I really like the look of this. It's quite similar to it without having mine's got the chevron on, but without having that. I quite like the face just seems a bit deeper, and also with that technology in the sole, I think could probably prove a little bit better when trying to get it out of maybe lies in the semi-rough, or when it's sat down a little bit, or certainly like I alluded to earlier, when you're hitting it out of a divot or a bad lie. This kind of fairway wood is really trying to get to the bottom of that divot and sort of flight it out a little bit more. So yeah, certainly very good. Right, let's have a bit of a look at the numbers. I'm going to hit a load more shots with all of these, and then we'll come together, have a look at the results, and tell you exactly what we find. So now that we've hit both 3 and 5 woods in the Elite range, let's take a look at the results. So we'll start with the 5 woods, okay, at the bottom. So we can see Elite X, 253 total, 240 carry. We can see the spin very high at over 4,000 RPM, which, you know, for a fairway wood is very, very high, but it's exactly what it's designed to do. It's trying to hit the ball high, it's trying to spin it, it's trying to help that player that needs that help, and we can certainly see that that's happening. For me, that has a bit of a detrimental effect on the distance, and we can see compared to both the Elite and Elite Triple Diamond, that changes that a little bit. I mean, the Triple Diamond, for instance, 252 carry, 270 total is probably a bit too low spin really for a 5-wood. It's not getting enough to sort of keep it in the air and stop it fast enough. A 5-wood is a club that you're trying to land and stop fairly quickly, and nearly 20 yards of run on it is probably a little bit too much. We're seeing with the standard Elite, it's a little bit less than that, but it's still, you know, it's the spin 3.5 versus 3.2 is kind of helping us with that a little bit. But certainly in terms of the numbers, they're certainly longer than the 5-wood that I have at the moment. So I said during testing, I have the Epic Speed from a few years ago. Absolutely love it. It goes about 245, 250 every time I hit it, and very easy to use. And it's certainly a club that is very dependable for me for that distance I'm looking for. Now the spins come out that little bit lower, and as a result, I'm kind of getting a bit more distance with them, and that's not really what I want with a golf club like this. That being said, we may find that putting a different shaft in it or something like that could change some of these numbers, so going and getting fitted is obviously very important. When we move on to the 3 woods, we can see in the X model, again, we are getting pretty decent in terms of spin. It's actually lower than the Elyte model in here, and we're seeing 254 carry, 279 total. So it's not going quite as far, just wasn't coming off the face quite as quick. And we can see that the Elyte model is just launching that little bit more, so that the extra height and fairly comparable spin means Elyte was just carrying that bit further. And 282 total with Elyte is very, very impressive as well. It's certainly further than I would hit my 3 wood at the moment. I always think it's about a 270 to 275 if I hit a really good one. But then we look at Triple Diamond. Again, I mean, the spin numbers slightly higher than we were getting with Elyte, and it's actually the highest of the 3, which you would expect it to be the lowest. Certainly wasn't for me. We can see the height, though, is up there at 90 feet as an average. We can see in terms of the carry distance, 260 carry is very, very good, and 283 total is extremely impressive as well. So we can see there that all of these models do something different, and it's not the same from the 5 wood to the 3 wood as well. So that's something to bear in mind. Just because you use Triple Diamond in a 5 wood doesn't mean you should maybe use it in the 3. I think looking at these, I would probably go for the standard Elyte out of this, just because I like the extra bit of height it gives me, and certainly when using it, it just felt easier to launch. And I think particularly when you're hitting it off the ground, the Elyte model versus the Triple Diamond might just be that little bit more playable from the turf as well. But certainly all of them were great to try, and it kind of highlights even more how much you should go and get properly custom fitted. Hopefully you've enjoyed that review. It's been great testing them. I absolutely love this time of year when I get to hit all of these new products. I'm like a kid in the sweet shop. But yeah, let us know what you think. Drop it in the comments section below. Are these fairway woods that you desperately want to try? Do you really like some of the technological changes, like that sort of step design in the sole, which I particularly love? Let us know in the comment section below. Hopefully you've enjoyed that video, and we'll see you all very, very soon.